The Abraham Accords were not just with the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain. It also included normalization with Morocco. And I'm honored to be joined today by my friend Mohamed Zainabi, editor-in-chief of L'Observateur du Maroc. I probably did not pronounce that as I should, who will moderate our next panel on investing in Africa. Mohamed will be joined on stage by Mounssif Adarkaoui, Director of Financial Studies and Forecasting at the Moroccan Ministry of Economy and Finance, Mehdi Tazi, Vice President of the General Confederation of Moroccan Enterprises, and Steve Ohana, President of the Morocco-Israel Business Council. Mohamed, please.
First of all, I would like to thank your media and thank also the organizer for inviting us to speak about Morocco as a land for investments, but also as a gateway for Africa. So perhaps before answering the question, I will invite you to watch a short movie that shows the achievements made by Morocco during the last 20 years under the leadership of His Majesty the King Mohammed VI.
Being a breeding ground of civilizations and gateway to Africa, Morocco has taken up the emergence challenge. Under the auspices of His Majesty King Mohammed VI, Morocco is undergoing a rapid socio-economic transformation. Thanks to ambitious measures and strategies that meet global standards and requirements, the kingdom has joined Morocco has managed the feat of becoming Africa's second largest exporter of cars with an integration rate of over 60%. Strong visibility and trust given to the investors turned the Kingdom of Morocco into the ideal destination for the development of business opportunities in an increasingly fast-paced country.
Has been said in the film, Morocco, for those who have never been in Morocco, is an African country, but is in a crossroad between Africa and Europe. And we succeeded leveraging this unique geostrategic position by investing massively in infrastructure. So the film speaks about, we give you here some figures about the effort that have been made by Morocco to equip the country with world-class infrastructures. In parallel of this effort of equipping the country with infrastructure, we have also engaged institutional reforms that consolidate the stability of Morocco in terms of economy, in terms of social, and also in terms of politics, under the leadership of His Majesty the King Mohammed VI. And here I mentioned two major reforms. The first one was in 2011, is the new constitution that guarantee ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity. And the last one, which have been launched during the last Ramadan, which is the generalization of social protection in all Moroccans. So in addition to these domestic reforms, Morocco also deeply engaged in free trade agreements. We signed almost 55 agreements with the European Union, with the United States, with the Arab countries, also with Turkey. And those, when a business operates from Morocco, they have access to a market of more than 1 billion consumers in free duty. And adding to that, we have signed the African Zone Libre-Échange free trade agreement, which will add another 1 billion consumer market for operators and business operating from Morocco. And all this process of reform have strengthened the competitiveness of economy. And during the last decade, in terms of GDP growth, we have almost an average growth in terms of real terms by 3.5% each year. And in terms of inflation, we have an average only on 1.5%. So the inflation is under control. So thanks to those macroeconomic stability and macroeconomic fundamentals, Morocco have been successful in attracting FDIs. Sorry, I have the numbers in another slide, but we have been ranked as the third country, the most attractive in Africa in terms of FDIs. And also in terms of doing business, we have been ranked last year the third one in Africa and 53rd in worldwide. So thanks to all those reforms, Morocco is the right place for companies and investors that want either to invest in Morocco or through Morocco to invest in African countries. And then I will sum up by saying that Morocco, in a region that is very volatile, is a model of stability in all levels, in political, social, but also in the economical level.
Mr. Tazi, what about the Moroccan business climate in all this? How is it handling the current situation?
First of all, I want to say how happy I am and honored I am to be in this event, knowing that the relationship between Morocco and Israel are formally new, but probably lasting for a very long time and never stopped. And as a young guy, I still remember that in 1993, Shimon Peres, on the way back from Washington, stopped in Rabat to meet King Hassan II. So that's a long-lasting relationship with a strong community, Jewish community in Morocco. I came back to Morocco in 2003 and 2004, and I have to say that coming from countries like Dubai, Singapore, moving back to Morocco, I found a country that was at the beginning of its development. When you look at it 20 years later, the achievements are really strong, and you can notice it, whether it's in terms of business climate, where we moved from, in doing business, something like 130 to 53 now, whether it's in terms of infrastructure, whether it's in terms of a business environment, generally speaking. My experience is I run an insurance company that started in Morocco, that we actually bought an insurance company in 2005 with less than $10 million of equity. We sold it in 2017, after 12 years, for $2 billion to a group in South Africa. And what made it possible is that we found the economic environment to buy, to invest in Africa, to invest in our countries, in our continent. We found the human resources that were willing and able to go and work in different places. I myself run at some point an insurance company in Angola, an insurance company in Côte d'Ivoire, another one in Nigeria. So you find in Morocco resources that can go there and run those companies with the special mindset that we have in Morocco, but also in Africa. So I think the way we should see Morocco is reasonably good with the international standards platform from a business perspective, but also the gateway to a continent where everything is still happening in terms of energy, in terms of industry, infrastructure, you name it. Everything is to be done.
Second question. We speak about Morocco as a gateway to Africa. According to you, why do you believe that it would be more interesting for an investor to come and invest in Morocco and from thereafter in Africa, rather than going elsewhere?
Because I just said everything is to be done. Nothing is done in Africa. I mean, you see it from the perspective of investor. Everything that you touch is 10% in terms of development. So the 90% are to be done. The frontiers, the next frontier is in Africa. I think everybody said it. It's something that people have heard, but those that went on the field, on the ground, and saw it know that the development that any company can do should be done in Africa.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Steve Wahana, when Mr. Yako read your name in our panel, he asked me, Steve Wahana, are you sure he's in your panel? Wait, yes. You have Mohammed, you have Mehdi, you have Mounssif, and you have Steve. And my question, I heard someone was asking you this question. As a Jewish Moroccan yourself, how do you perceive your mission within the Morocco-Israeli Business Council?
Well, number one, thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm very honored to be part of that forum. I'm very sorry that I won't be able to answer the question as said. I never thought, and I am not, a Jewish Moroccan. So I can't answer, but if you want, I'd be very pleased to answer as a Moroccan Jew. Yeah. As a Moroccan, as you do too, and you would understand it very easily. If you ask me what is my religion, for sure I will tell you I'm a Jew. And I think it's about time for people to understand that religion and citizenship shouldn't be mixed.
Exactly.
I agree.
I grew up in Morocco, went to study in America, and after my studies, I decided rightly and luckily to come back and make my life in Morocco. I'm very pleased about the decision I made. Since then, I've been an entrepreneur, running an industry group, real estate, services, and trade. And it was a very nice experience, and it still is. So, in some ways, to sum it up, I'm only a Moroccan product. The reason why is that Morocco offers the same rights and offers the same opportunity to everybody. To illustrate that diversity, Morocco is the only country in the world beside Israel that where the personal status of a Jew is ruled by the Mosaic law. Which means that it's within the same court, but with a rabbinical chamber. The Abraham Accords is, for us, nothing new, because the relationship we do have is so good that we never felt any differences. Moreover, the fact is in Israel you have close to 1 million Jews of Moroccan origin. It's a factor that should make it much easier, enjoyable, and smooth. Very important factor to me. My wife is Israeli. On top of this, she's a criminal lawyer, and she decided to come to live in Morocco and made Morocco a country of adoption, and she's very pleased and happy. And she loves it, and she cannot foresee her life anywhere else. The Business Council will be more delighted to assist, to advise, and to facilitate any Israeli entrepreneur that would like to invest in Morocco. That council was created by the supervision of Mr. Shakib Lalej, the president of the CGEM, and in the framework with the SPA between CGEM, FIC, and MIA, which is our counterpart in Israel. Even though the last few months, the conditions required to boost the economy were not met, we still received many inquiries from Moroccan and Israeli investors, and hopefully, as soon as the frontiers will be open, we'll be very happy to receive. Mehdi and I will be very pleased to see you in Morocco as soon as you'll be ready to come. It will be our pleasure to host you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I wish we had more time to discuss further on this topic, but unfortunately, we will need to wrap up for now. Thank you very much. Thank you for the panelists. And see you soon in Morocco.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to our panel. I think our next conference should be in Morocco. I'm sure you'll all agree with me.